So we have figured out how to do our lives on vertical and horizontal, but I don't know. I feel like my computer is a little slow, so I think I'm gonna have to get like a graphics card or something like that. I feel like it's a little lacking because I don't know. I don't know. But how y'all doing? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday and everything like that. I'm not gonna be able to see the chat. Basically, how I'm gonna do it is like we'll talk or whatever, and if there's something in the chat, we'll see the chat because I feel like it'd be distracting me. And today is a very, very important video. I feel like all my videos are like important, but then again, that's why we got to talk about the video today. We got to get into the video today. But before we do that, I got my books that I told y'all I was going to be reading. And so I feel like I haven't done a woo-woo spirituality video and everything like that because I'm embedding that into my self-improvement or whatever. And I don't know, I just want to embed everything because I feel like it all goes together, and you don't necessarily have to be spiritual to want to be better. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and I'm very like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just very, like I'm not spacey with my spirituality. You know what I'm saying? I'm not spacey. I like for things to make sense. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. I'm not saying everything is about money, but you know, we do need that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so the book that I got, and I just want to let y'all say, I was reading this, right? And I like this book, okay? And I'll probably link this book when I talked about this book. But what I didn't really like about this book was that it was from a more Eurocentric aspect, right? And I need something, because you can't say it's the great cosmic mother. And we know that all life, right, originated from a specific demographic. So I would like for, you know what I mean? Like it was just very Eurocentric. It went over some of the things, but it didn't talk enough about, like it talks about Paleolithic and Neolithic, women's early religions and stuff like that, but it doesn't go into the depth that I would prefer. So that's why I feel like we need a little extra. So I got, and I'm gonna cover it up, but I got Architects of Existence, and it's a very thick book in my opinion. Okay, it's a thick book. And then I also got, and I'm gonna cover it up again, Our Mothers, Our Powers, and Our Texts. Okay, and so I feel like this is in literature. This one is about the literature, and this one has to do with the different religions and stuff like that. So I'm probably going to start with this one and then go to the other one. But I feel like the other one goes first and then this one. But anyway, yeah. And it's by the same author, and it's like Africana studies, gender studies, and religious studies. So this might be like an actual textbook. And I feel like this one is a textbook too, because it's taught in women's studies and different things of that nature. But like I said, like it just doesn't have enough information as it relates to, Black people, Black women, and someone that loves, like I could have majored, but minored in African American women's studies, because I took every course that the lady had at Howard. I took every one that she had. I love those. That was my, radio, TV, and film, graphic design and stuff like that. But I found out that I actually like African American women study. I like African American study too, but I feel like discussing, it's like Black women's study. I love Black women's studies, right? I do. And so, we'll be reading this out. I'm going to start tonight. And, if we see something, we're going to talk about it. I'll introduce the books and everything like that to you. But I just want to let you know. Okay. I just want to let you know, we got our books. They're shiny, and it's just have that new book feel to it. Like you can flip through the pages. I'm getting my highlighters ready and everything like that. And the inspiration for today's video came from that. So it's just kind of like, being someone that is always into African American women's studies and everything like that, goddess energy, I feel like we're not taking ourselves as seriously as we should. You know, if all life originated from us, right? You can't get here but by through a woman. Then what we say goes at the end of the day, right? And so it's just kind of like happy wife, happy life. All of that energy. We need to start taking our goals, our dreams, and our ambitions a little bit more seriously than we do, because I just don't feel like we are. I don't feel like we're putting forth that effort. You know, yes, it might be a side gig, side hustle, or something as small as wanting to make those minor changes to your existence, but we need to take that more seriously. I'm feeling that in my chest right now. We need to take our lives more seriously. I don't feel like we were put on earth to wake up and go to work, spend all the day at work, building other people's dreams, building other people's businesses, building other people's things up. And then when we come home, we're depleted. We give all our energy away to our family, our friends, our kids, our spouses, and everything like that. And then we don't have anything left for ourselves. So we need to start taking ourselves much more seriously than we do, despite what the media and society is expecting. Like if we want to have kids or if we don't want to have kids, that's autonomous choice. What you choose to do with your body, what you choose to do, that is your decision, right? My spirituality is mind your business, right? My political affiliate, everybody needs to just mind your business. As long as you're not hurting anybody, we're not telling people what to do with their body. That is your body, right? You have full autonomy. That's what freedom is, right? To be able to make a choice or a decision concerning your health or your well-being. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. Look, I started wearing both of the rubber bands for the Invisalign, and next time I go to the appointment, I have choice words for my orthodontist. I do, because you told me to stop wearing them. Now I got to start wearing them. And now that I haven't been wearing them because you told me to stop wearing them, it hurts. Like I'm going to be on a liquid diet, but that's going to be great because I'm going to get slim. Anyway, moving on. So what does it mean? What does it mean to take yourself seriously? Right. It could be as simple of, I'm not going to say wearing a blazer and different things of that nature, because just because you wear a blazer, just because you wear some glasses, just because you put the look together doesn't necessarily mean that you're serious, right? However, I do believe that that's a start. You dress for the job that you want. Amen. Listen, I like to dress like, pressing curls and things like that, because listen, I'm getting ready to do my second retirement. Second retirement. Already retired. I'm working on my second one, period. So it's just kind of like, start putting yourself together. I have a glow up series that you can go look at. You can go get on Pinterest. Okay, Pinterest, get your life together, start putting it together. And also, like, I feel like, say you work from home, if you put on a blazer, you feel a little bit more, professional as you would as opposed to wearing your pajamas. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like, it's the ambiance, and your mind is going to shift just by changing the clothes that you wear. You'll start taking yourself, because different types of clothing are associated with different things. So start dressing the part, right? Listen, the least you could do, because perception is 9/10 of the law. Okay. If it look like it, right, it is. So if you start putting on the clothes, just putting it on, faking it till you make it. We talked about it yesterday. If you just start putting it on, you'll start feeling a little bit more like this is business. I have on business today. We're wearing business. We're wearing professional. So you put a little pump on, right? And you start to take yourself seriously, but also treating your time like it's valuable. So what you do with your time. Okay, so yes, looking the part, but the big component of it is your time. Business professionals, people that are serious, like, billionaires, millionaires, the stars, celebrities, they all take their time seriously. They have very strict routines. They do the same thing I was reading something about Victoria Beckham. She has been eating fish and broccoli and vegetables for 10, 15, 20 years. And she's very specific on what she's doing with her dietary thing, and so they're used to doing the same thing. For us, things like that gets boring. Variety is the spice of life. But when you're running a strict program, it's not about variety or having fun. It's about getting the job done. It's about showing up every single day, so it's just kind of like we have to take our time seriously. Something that is a really big thing is convenience shopping. We buy things, we go take a Uber, or we get the food delivered and different things of that nature. But we need to learn to make where you can outsource, right? But if you need to do it yourself so that it's done correctly, we might need to do that. You know what I mean? Like, where can you outsource? Where can you dedicate the time and the energy toward your craft? Don't treat your dream like a gig, is what I'm trying to say. Because I feel like we don't have the same respect for our dreams as we do for our jobs. Mainly because our job is taking and paying us and insurance and everything like that. But I feel like with how volatile this job searching and everything is, you can't afford not to have something of your own. You see so many people doing content creation now. You see so many people starting their own businesses now, or even relying on like gig economy stuff like Uber Eats and Ubers and everything like that to make their ends meet. So, and they have to treat it. I looked it up. I watched to see what exactly are they doing. They get up every day at 8:00. Okay, they're getting up at 8:00, 7:00, and they're going and they're doing the same thing. They're treating it like a real job, So why can't we put forth that same energy toward our own thing? And I feel like it's hard because we are getting drained at our jobs. We are getting drained. We have a lot to do, but we're just going to have to, because you can't afford not to have your personal brand. I was reading something where they were saying that people are getting hired based off of their personal brands now. You see what I'm saying? Like they want to see your brand before they ever hire you. So it's almost like you have to be a personality. You have to do, and then what if that isn't your personality? Like content creation and communicating on a public space is not for everybody, So it's like, what do we tell our kids? When I was in school, they said your resume was what was going to get you the job. Now we have grown up and we're seeing that they're switching it. One, they're saying that education is not as important. Now they're saying that the resume don't even matter, right? You need to like have something going outside of now they're switching everything up. And I don't feel like, we're talking enough about it. You have to take yourself seriously. You have to put a brand together, get your codes, your logos and everything together so that you can build something that belongs to yourself. And it's just kind of like, I fear that because of how we were educated and because of our environment and what we do on a regular day basis, we know how to work for people. Schools don't teach you how to be an employer. Schools don't teach you how to be an entrepreneur. You see what I'm saying? That's what they have business school for. You see what I'm saying? You have to get out and do. And so we're raising kids to be, passive, right? But now we are in an aggressive environment. And it's like, where's the aggression? Okay, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been in school all day, and these kids they have aggression, yes, but they don't have it. They're not putting it towards something constructive. You know what I mean? So it's just kind of like we need to be really taking ourselves seriously. And we have to take ourselves seriously a little earlier. Because now I'm looking at they got content creators made from AI, right? Made from AI. You see what I'm saying? That's what I say. I use my spirituality for regular stuff. You see what I'm saying? Because if I know that they're using content creators for AI, then it would be a trend for you, not a trend, but it would just be a great idea to do live streaming. All right. Because the edits and all that other stuff. No, people want to see people. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, social network, social media is social. The people that watch are social beings. They like to communicate. You know what I'm saying? I do not like calling the representative, right? And they are having me talk to the robots. I don't want to talk to the robot, okay? Because the robot don't care about nothing I care about, okay? But Miss Keisha, she is going to make sure that I am getting my needs met. She feels the way I feel. Okay, I talked to the lady when I did my bankruptcy and the people were still calling and I had to call them and let them know like, hey, you need to talk to my attorney. The lady, first of all, it was a funny thing. I could tell she was working from home because her fire alarm went off. It was hilarious. But she was just like, you know what? I'm going to just say this off the record. You did what you needed to do. Okay. And can I just say a little word for you? And I was like, come on, Keisha. Come on, Keisha. AI not doing that. AI is not doing that. AI don't know what they talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like people need personality. People need community. Like community look different for everybody, but you should be able to choose the type of community and everything like that. But it's just like, since I know that these things are happening, then I'm going to move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing is, just because I know something, I'm not going to share it all the time, but it's just kind of like, I be having all these ideas and for me, this is what I'm working on myself, implementing the ideas that I get. Even if I get the idea before it's time to use it, or, cause it's like, I was like, oh, okay, I'm doing live streaming because I'm lazy and I don't have time to edit. I'm not going to ever edit the video the way I need to edit it as quick as a computer going to do it. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to be able to do all of that, but I can live stream off the dome. I can talk, right? And when I'm done, the video is done and we can move on, right? And you can't out personality me, right? But I wasn't thinking about AI taking over, but I just saw a video talking about people and AI content creators. I had no idea. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, we need to take ourselves more seriously. We do. We need to get in the game some kind of way. Okay. All right. The other thing is we have to treat our ideas like they're worth protecting. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes when I come up with my ideas, I don't be putting it out because I don't be feeling like it's going to hit all the time. And I feel like, sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't, but it was a thought. It was an idea, and it's worth, because you never know what is going to resonate with somebody. Somebody see it by chance or the algorithm or whatever the case may be, and it brightens up their day. You know what I'm saying? I get DMs from people and they're like, oh my God, you're inspiring me. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? People comment and they're like, thank you so much. This inspired me. This made me feel like I need to go do blah, 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 blah. And that makes me happy. Even if it's just one person, or whatever the case may be, I don't know what's going on with the light. But, did we not charge it? I don't think we charged it. It died. It's okay. I got to work on it. But anyway, so even if it's just one person that felt it, that's good enough for me, because, you never know what people are going through. You never know. And I feel like with everything that's happening in the world and all these different things, people are looking for content creators that are representing them and what they think about, because sometimes I get on YouTube and I'm like, I don't see nothing that I want to talk about. I don't see nothing about that. Well, maybe I'm supposed to be the one creating it, right? So protecting and just taking my ideas seriously, even if we're not sure entirely where it's going to go. You know what I mean? So I feel like we don't take ourselves seriously because of the mental conditioning. Like I said, school teaches you how to be an employee. All you're doing is filling out papers, taking orders from people, open this book and things like that. If you're lucky, you might learn critical thinking skill. Okay. That's what math is that's what algebra is supposed to do, all these different things. But if you never get out of like remedial classes or regular classes and you're behind, you'll never make it to the critical thinking step. You see what I'm saying? If you just trying to get your numbers, you're not going to ever figure out what to do with those numbers. If you're just learning the ABCs, you'll never understand what it is to actually read something. Okay. And that's the issue that we're having with our education system. But the thing is, that's by design, because they don't want people that are educated. Why? Because the most educated people make better choices based off the fact that they have information. They don't want you to have the information so you can make whatever choice they want you to make. But that's none of my business. You know what I'm saying? None of my business at all. That's why I'm in the library, baby. That's why we in there. I can't be in the class with the kids telling them stuff like that. Because I tell them, look, you do what you want to do. But this your education. This your education. This is your life online. That's not mine. It ain't got nothing to do with me. You know, you do what you want. You do what you feel. Whatever you feel. You see what I'm saying? The other thing is we're afraid because we don't want to look delusional. We care what other people think. Okay. Myself included, because it's just kind of like, I don't want to be that person that's putting out a mixtape. You know what I'm saying? Like, check out my mixtape. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Check out my SoundCloud. I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to feel like that. You see what I'm saying? But even then, you have to have delusion grandeur, because eventually somebody with that mixtape made it. You see what I'm saying? Somebody made it with the mixtape. The information, the content got into the right hands, and they were able. You have to do it, and you have to get over the cringe factor. You see what I'm saying? Getting over what people think, you know, is you just have to we just got to do it, you know? And I think it's better because everybody gets it now, because everybody want to be a content creator now, but not everybody does. Not everybody does, because like in the areas that I go, like, no, you can't just be recording people. You know what I'm saying? Privacy. We care about our privacy over here. You see what I'm saying? But it's just like, we got to get the content out. So we're going to do what we got to do. And for me, I feel like to get over that visibility and that cringe, we're just going to have to post it. And then sometimes I feel like we're too close to the situation to make the right choice. Because we have such an emotional response towards stuff, then we don't make the choice that we need to, because we're impacting our emotions, you know, because this is causing anxiety and you care about the outcome so much, you won't make the right choice. You see what I'm saying? We need to step out and look at it from a business standpoint. A business standpoint says, I don't care what you do. That video need to get out. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm talking to myself like a business, I don't care what happened in life. You need to get this video done. You need to get on the live stream. And I'm talking every single day. You know what I mean? I'm going to have a video out talking about what does it take to be number one? Because I've been doing research to see exactly what are the people doing, right? And I don't want to get too much, but I looked something up. Don Lemon, you know, was fired from, I guess, CNN, and he is already at 1 million on his YouTube channel. And I'm subscribed to it. And I was just like, you know, from January to now, he has already uploaded 100 shorts. You know what I'm saying? And he is going live 2 times a day, Monday through Friday. You know what I'm saying? We have to run it like a news. And I'm sure he has help, you know, big creators, they have help. They have, you know, teams of people. If you're trying to be a mogul, you have to run it like you have 100 people working for you. You see what I'm saying? You have to run it like that way. You have to run the play like this. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, we're going to have another video talking about what does it take to be number one, probably on Friday, because I need time to make sure that I connect all the different things. And I want to try to do things in different, not just celebrities, but just, you know, different avenues, right? Not just music, not just TV and things like that, but just looking at a grand scheme of things, you know? All right. The other part is we wait for external permission, you know, waiting for someone to tell you that it's okay to step out of your comfort zone and take yourself more seriously. You see what I'm saying? The thing is, nobody's going to tell you what to do. because we've been in school. They tell you what to do. They tell you that you need to do this. They tell you that, you see what I'm saying, that this is a great idea and everything. You have someone over your shoulder, but as you're an adult or just whatever, nobody's going to tell you. And you have to do trial and error. Now, because we have social media, because we have so much information at our fingertips, we can do research and we can figure out, well, what are the things? Chat will tell you what to do, but you would have to know what you wanted to do so that you would be able to ask the proper questions. If you don't know what questions to ask, then chat will just give you whatever. You see what I'm saying? And even when it give you stuff, it don't be 100%. Because I be like, chat, that's not what I feel in my spirit, chat. That's not realistic. And I'm not trying to train the algorithm too much, because why I got to do your job, chat? Like, you supposed to be taking over. Why I got to do your job? Why you need my information all the time? You supposed to be giving us information, and the information don't halfway be all the way right. Sometimes chat copy and paste from itself. Have you noticed that? Chat be plagiarizing itself. And did you know that if chat give you the wrong answer, it's called an hallucination? What are you looking at, chat? What are you looking at? Yeah, I be arguing with ChatGPT. I be arguing. I don't even want to call Siri, because Siri gonna be like, what's up, girl? And I'm like, girl, I'm not even talking to you like that for real. You see what I'm saying? There she go. What is it? Nothing. You know what I mean? Get out of my business. Anyway. Girl. Okay, so we're going to talk the benefits of taking yourself more seriously. When you start taking yourself more seriously, you start doing one thing at a time. And I feel like it could start as 1, showing up, and then 2, dressing the part, and then 3, doing whatever it is, taking just one step. It's the 1-step plan. We're just going to do one thing. We're just doing one thing until we get a handle on it. And after we do the one thing, then we can do another thing. Okay, but we're only going to focus on one thing, because I feel like when you focus on so many things all at one time, you get overwhelmed and then you end up doing nothing, right? So we want to make sure that we can keep the consistency going and we can do at least one thing. Demonstrate proficiency with one thing. And then after that, we add extra. You see what I'm saying? We put the seasoning on, but we just going to give it to you. You can put your own salt on it. Okay. As my grandmother would say, we're going to season it regular. And then if they feel like they need more, they want high blood pressure, then they can season their own food. But we're going to just do this right here and let whatever happen. But as you do that, you gain self-trust. As you can build proficiency and you can show like, hey, I showed up and I did this. Maybe I can keep going. I noticed that when I was live streaming last week, I might have my list of things I want to talk about. You know what I mean? But I might, as I'm talking, like, actually, I think I want to do another thing. And it's like I get another idea after I do whatever I did yesterday. You see what I'm saying? So we have to keep the momentum going, because we do one thing and then, oh, actually, I can talk about this too. And then boom, and you get your ideas as you're talking. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes you get the feedback and the feedback, just everything you need as you do it. But you would have to make that first step. And then sometimes it be messy. Okay, I'm not going to say sometimes, say all the time. It's messy that first couple of times that you do it. You see what I'm saying? But you know what it takes to keep going. Okay, so as you gain that self-trust, you're going to gain confidence in doing whatever it is that you need to do. You feel better about it. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm good at talking. I like to have a good conversation, but I really have to feel that conversation, reach, dig and down in there and really give that. But it gives that confidence because you know what you're talking about, or like you're going to be a professional at whatever it is that you're choosing to do. You see what I'm saying? And you don't need the cosign. You don't need the external validation anymore, because you have seen yourself do it and you build that self energy, right? And then as you're doing stuff, as you're showing up all the time, you're wasting less time. Eventually you waste no time, because you already know how it goes. You already know what's required. You already know you have your routine together. You do this, you do this, you do this. And that's how it goes every single time. And then also when you do something, you know what is going to happen. You know what I mean? So you're eliminating those unknown variables. Okay? because now we have more data to accumulate. We have accumulated the data, so we know what to do, right? Yeah. And then as you are, doing your things, taking yourself more seriously, like really stepping into embodying your higher self, other people will fall in line. You see, so the same people that talked about you doing whatever it is that you wanted to do, now they're trying to, well, can you show me how? You know what I mean? They're trying to sign up for the class. They want to take notes. You see what I'm saying? But I would be very wary on sharing information with people who did not put the work in. Because at the end of the day, nobody is going to spoon feed you. You see what I'm saying? Nobody's going to spoon feed you. You have to get it out the mud like everybody else. Not saying that we're crabs in a bucket and we don't want to help other people, but there's a difference between helping people, like genuinely helping people, and people biting you. You see what I'm saying? And taking from you. They didn't support you, right? They didn't support you when you was trying to get it out the mud. They was sniggling and giggling and all type of stuff at the idea. Okay, so they didn't want to show up for the idea, and they didn't want to show up for the practice. They didn't want to show up for the work. But now that you're on the up and up, now that you're doing your thug thizzle, now they want a seat at the table. Now they want you to put them on, right? But they wasn't trying to do none of the work. So no, there's a difference. There's a difference between helping people and pulling people up and bringing, but thing is, everybody is not going with you. Everybody's not invited. Everybody, and there's no way, no better way to find out who is for you and who is against you than to have a goal and have ambition. You know what I'm saying? But I fear that some of us are a little bit too married and attached to the wrong people, that we care about validation and we care about community more than we care about our dreams. And that is a problem. Yeah. I don't want to clock the tea, honey. I don't want to clock the tea, right? So something that has been helping me to make and take myself more seriously, and hopefully this helps you, setting a schedule. I think it was 2 or 3 videos ago, we talked about planner inserts. And I feel like I've been doing better, okay, we're only going to do 3 things from this category on this day, instead of trying to do all these different things on one day and then getting burnt out or not being able to do anything the next day. You see what I'm saying? So I have to make sure that I'm not doing too much so that I can show up later. You see what I'm saying? And we changed our food schedule. We eat after. You see what I'm saying? After the live stream, we have to live stream, then we eat. You see, we had changed our entire schedule around so it could facilitate this task. And we also made the task permanent. And we made sure it was just one thing. It doesn't matter what you do today, okay? But you must get this one thing done, okay? That's it. That's all. You see what I'm saying? The other thing is, stop over explaining your vision. You really shouldn't be explaining your vision to other people anyway, because most people have a different prescription plan for whatever it is they're trying to see. They're not going to see it. They're not going to see it. They're not going to understand it. You see what I'm saying? I'm over here trying to talk about live streaming. Don't nobody I know anything about live streaming. They don't know nothing about YouTube other than the fact that that's where they go to learn things. That's all they know. You see what I'm saying? So it's hard to communicate certain things to certain people because they're just not going to understand it. The other thing is, you tell people and they say no, and you have these naysayers and you have all these different things. Most people are limited by their own perceptions of reality. You see what I'm saying? So if something never happened for them, that's what they believe. Like, they believe and they keep telling themselves this same story, that this happened to me or this didn't happen to me based off of this. You see what I'm saying? So their entire worldview is based off of things that happened to them. Thing is, the things that happened to them didn't happen to you. So you have a different perception. You have a different, reality than they do. We live. It's different levels. It's different levels. So they're not going to see the vision. They're not going to see it. That's like asking, Stevie, can you look at this? No, he can't look at it. He can't. He literally can't. He can't see it. And I feel like we talk about our dreams. We talk about our visions because we want to bounce ideas off of people. And I feel like the best thing for you to do is to keep that to yourself. Because even if you went and found a community of people that were just like you on the grind and bouncing ideas, how do you know they're not going to steal your idea? Yeah, listen, it's like that. It's like that out there in them streets. So you just should keep it to yourself and do what you need to do to make your dream a reality, And I also feel like, not saying that people don't, support you or anything like that, but I also feel like it's nobody's responsibility to support you either. You know what I mean? Like I was seeing something on Instagram. It's this trend, and they were talking about how their friends, don't support them, and people say that you should start a new account without anybody on there, like getting rid of all the people you used to follow and just focusing on that. And in a way, I feel like that's true, but at the same time, I just kind of feel like it's nobody's responsibility to support. You would want people to support you, but it's not their responsibility to support your dream. Your dream is your dream. You see what I'm saying? We're not trying to, because it's like, if you're looking for the people that you went to high school and college and things of that nature to support you, are you doing it for yourself or are you doing it for them? Because if you're doing it for yourself, then you'll do it regardless of who's following the account. You see what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter. It matters not whether or not they're on the account or not on the account. If you want to block them, get rid of them, that's fine. They probably should have never been there in the first place, but it's like, it's nobody's responsibility to support you. You have to support yourself and it'll gain traction along the way. You see what I'm saying? Like I got family members. Why you didn't like my page? Well, you need to do what you're supposed to be doing to get the likes. Not saying that we can't like stuff and help, but it's just kind of like, where is the work? You see what I'm saying? If you're relying on the people around you to carry you on their back with your dream and everything like that, no, where is your work at? You see what I'm saying? Where is your carry the one? Where is your long division at? Like, I'm not feeling that. We have to, and then like, we're not spoon feeding and we're not relying on other people to support us. We're grassrooting it, grassrooting it, building it up, bootstrap, all that stuff. We're doing it ourselves. So we're not relying on other people. Because the other thing is like, if you're relying on these same people, or if you always seek external validation, the moment somebody takes that external validation from you, then you won't have anything. You see what I'm saying? The moment somebody say, oh, I'm not feeling it, the moment you put out something and it don't get as much views or you don't get as much traction as you feel like it should have got, then that'll break you. The moment it don't hit the charts, but you loved it, it didn't hit the charts, it'll break you. The moment the media and everything start telling you something different, right? Start telling you something different, then you're living and dying by the opinions and thoughts of others. And that's no way to live, right? So anyway, so we have to make sure that we're investing in ourselves. We have to investing in our dreams, investing in things like that. Now I will say, okay, most of the rich people, okay, they get an investment from family. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. They get investments from family, myself included. Look, I had an old camera from college and I sold that camera and Granny gave me a little money. This computer that I'm using, my dad gave me he hooked me up with that. You know what I'm saying? Listen, but it's just kind of like invest in yourself, but invest in things that are going to show profit, have a return on investment. You see what I'm saying? Like investing, we can call it investing, but it needs to have a return. It needs to be something that you are going to use, and if we can find the funding, we can find the funding, you know what I mean? But if we have to fund it ourselves, we fund it ourselves, because the rest of the stuff, the lights and everything like that, I did that myself. You see what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, we have to invest in our dream before anybody else. Like, because if it's your dream, you have to know, you have to know, and you have to put aside some resources, some time to really make it happen for yourself. But at the same time, don't rush out and buy the latest and the greatest. You see what I'm saying? Like when I first started trying to do YouTube, they would tell you like you needed all of this gear. You see what I'm saying? Whole time they're affiliate marketing, and the higher cost of the product that they're linking, they get a higher return on the affiliate linking. So they're going to tell you that you need this camera. You see what I'm saying? But in actuality, you just need to do, you see what I'm saying? And if you're doing other things, like it's not even as deep as you think it is, right? We can make it work. We can make, as long as the people can see you, as long as the people can hear you, it's all good in the hood. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of like, these are things that they don't tell you off the bat. They don't tell you all the information. That's why we have critical thinking skill that they don't teach in the school. You see what I'm saying? So we have to look at that. The other thing is we have to recognize when our investments are not going to show growth or show a return. You see what I'm saying? And in that case, that's why we're always doing audits. That's why we're always looking at, analytics. That's why we're always just doing the research or whatever. We're planning while we're doing it so that we make sure that, we're not doing the same thing and just not seeing a return. You see what I'm saying? Like an example, I was doing my library videos. You see what I'm saying? But when I was thinking, I was like, am I going to be a career librarian? No, that's not what I wanted to do. You see what I'm saying? I didn't want to be a career librarian. I didn't want to be like a spokesperson for libraries and books and reading and schools. Okay, specifically schools, because I don't identify with how they treat and do our kids. You see what I'm saying? And I know me. You know what I mean? I know me. And so I have to transition into something that's more authentic to myself. I shine a little bit brighter when I am communicating about things that I care about. You see what I'm saying? And I need to be able to do it regardless of what's going on in the news, regardless of what's going on, whatever. So I decided to make work in YouTube content creation, which is actually my passion and what I went to school for, separate from what I do, every day. You see what I'm saying? And that is something that I chose to do. We did have to grow our channel from the ground up. This is probably the third time, you see what I'm saying? And I was thinking about like, do I want to go into another channel, start over from scratch there, or just take the, but I feel like it's good for people to see the transitions from one thing to another thing to another thing. And it's like you take the viewers and everybody along with you. But it's very important to do that research and figure out, well, if this isn't working, how can we make it work? Don't keep doing the same thing over and over, trying to expect, because if it's not showing growth, you see what I'm saying? It's like you're trying to get your hair to grow. Right? But it's not growing. We need to start looking. What is your diet like? Are we using the heat tools? Did you put the color in there? You see what I'm saying? Are you using the growth aids? What exactly are you using? Let's check out the shampoo. Are you keeping your hair deep conditioned? Are you doing the lock method? Like there are all these different variables that go into, seeing growth. Right? So if we want to see growth, then we have to switch up the strategy. But I feel like to see whether or not a strategy work or not, you have to give it at least a good 3 months. If you can do it 3 months, then we can assess and reevaluate. You know what I mean? Hold on. Let me look and make sure. I think that's it, y'all. All right. And finally, on a woo-woo vibe, and I'm going to keep saying it until I am blue in the face. The version of you, all right, the version of you at your higher success already exists. The fact that you want it, the fact that you have a desire, the fact that you believe in it so intensely, it's there. You just have to align yourself with the proper actions, right? You do what they tell us. You reach your goals by taking aligned action in the direction toward where you're trying to go, So just believing that it's available to you, right? Sometimes we feel like, oh, our dreams are too big. If your dreams are too big and they scary, that's the right dream you should have. Some people don't dream nothing, Some people, they just living for day to day. And whatever they do today, that's what they did today. And if they died today, they would be happy, And I feel like if you have not done what you feel like you need to do, all right, and you are still breathing, This is a perfect time for you to go ahead and get started. Okay, because long as you up and you breathing, long as you walking around and you see another day, it's another day for you to get your dreams and your goals accomplished. Okay, all right, yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Take yourself more seriously, like you are a boss. Act like it. Okay, I'm gonna read my books. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me see if I don't think we have anything in the chat. Yeah. Hello, dear. We don't have anybody in the chat. The thing is, I have to cover the chat up so I could be focused, because when stuff start popping up on the screen, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. All right. So I will see you in the next video.